At last! The tomb of Horus!
Lost beneath the sand for centuries.
Bit dark, isn't it?
Halt! Those who would defile my resting place.
The voice of Horus!
Before you see two sarcophagi. One contains tremendous treasure, the other contains unspeakable horror. If you can find the treasure, it is yours. Each of you may ask one question.
I'll go first. What is the treasure?
The treasure is all of the missing episodes of Doctor Who.
My turn. Which sarcophagus contains the treasure?
That is the question you can ask.
Oh. Do I get another go?
No.
Does the sarcophagus containing the treasure have a pictogram of a crane on its cover?
It does not.
Ah.
What do you mean? None of them have got a picture of a crane.
Yeah, but if it did have one, we could eliminate it.
God's sake. Bigger.
Yeah. Rhubarb. Yes, nonsense. Yeah.
Silence! You must now choose.
Well, I'd go for the first sarcophagus.
Yeah, I was thinking that one too.
Yeah, the first one, it definitely doesn't have a crane on it.
Be sure. Very sure.
The first one. Final answer.
Look, I can see film cans.
They've got BBC labels on them.
Yes, it's the complete series of Mrs. Brown's Boys.
This is the game of Horus.
What a
Hello, and welcome to Time Ram, the podcast that's covered in thorns and a bit bendy. This is the podcast, as you should already know if you've been listening, this is the podcast which takes a random Doctor Who story and a random doctor and rams them together. My name is Paul Ferry, and joining me in the virtual studio tonight, I have my usual co-hosts, Barry Williams.
Oh.
And Rupert Booth.
Release me, insect, or I shall destroy the cosmos!
So you might have gathered from that, or maybe not, if you
understated.
You know.
Yep.
Have you heard Gabriel Wolf?
So you might have gathered from that we're doing Pyramids of Mars tonight.
Hey.
And it won't be starring Tom Baker. It'll be starring David Tennant.
Oh, hello.
Sort of the new series Tom Baker.
I am Sutek the Destroyer. Where I tread, I leave nothing but dust and darkness. I find that good.
Anyway, have you both been?
All right. It's been odd. We've got flooded today. The centre of Hastings is flooded. Yes. The shopping centre is underwater, and so is the park.
Global warming.
Yeah. So yeah, but it has been raining quite a lot recently. So.
Well, we got snowed on.
Yeah, we had some snow.
My work was also flooded. So
really?
Yeah, I couldn't go in. Yeah.
Hooray!
That's not a safe place to be.
In fact, apparently the road was flooded, so I couldn't even have got there, even if I tried.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you live in the sea?
Nearly.
Is it sliding into the sea?
Yeah.
Is it going to change its name from St. Leonard's on Sea to St. Leonard's in Sea?
Just in sea, yeah.
The centre of Hastings is built on the harbour, which is so it's kind of silted up. So, but the river it's still a river valley, but it's kind of that's where the town is now. So that was sensible. So
that was not a sensible place.
You learn these things on this podcast.
You're learning.
You learn about
places not to live.
Don't live in Hastings, folks.
Yeah, find a hill.
Yeah.
There are many hills in Hastings. Live in one of them, but
Yeah.
not in the middle.
I thought where you worked was on a hill. Is it not?
It's in a dip. Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
In a dip on a hill?
There's hills either side, but where I work is in a dip. Yeah.
I see, that's bad planning. Should build it on a hill, mate.
The other thing is, it is a castle.
Yeah.
That won't make any difference. It's designed to be waterproof.
The planning was done like 700 years ago.
It's the worst position for a castle ever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle of two hills.
Yeah, it's not a proper car. It's more of a house for them. So yeah.
You're not selling it.
No.
That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
Anyway, Pyramids of Mars. Yeah. Yes. Probably, I would guess that the three of us almost didn't have to watch it because we were probably so familiar with Pyramids of Mars.
I had it on the background this afternoon, and I was singing along with the incidental music and basically reciting almost every line.
Wow.
Really accurately as well. So yeah.
I don't think I've watched it all that often.
Yeah. I had it on I had the BBC video.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the omnibus.
Yeah.
Audio cassette, then BBC video for me, and it's my first memory of Doctor Who ever.
Yeah. Pre sell through, I had it because when videos were kind of stupidly priced when they were about 70 quid to buy a pre-recorded video. My parents knew somebody who lived in WH Smith's, worked in WH Smith's, and they could get a staff discount, and so I got it for Christmas one year.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you'd pirated it or something like that, which of course none of us would ever do.
No,
that would be terrible.
No.
Yes, I remember rental VHSs, so it's like back in the day, wasn't it? That's how I first saw Deep Space Nine, was from my mum's shop. We could get the rental video when they came out.
Yeah.
With like 2 episodes on or whatever, and you could watch them, which we did. Because I could get them for free because she worked there. So, that's how I saw season 1 of Deep Space Nine. Which
nice.
Happy memories. Those
were the days, kids, with your streaming and your internet. You don't know you're born.
Yeah. The joys of recording something on VHS and then watching the next day and finding that the tracking hadn't worked and it was all black and white and scrappy and not work properly.
Yeah, or you need something on timer. And
the joys of watching a 500th generation copy of Seeds of Doom.
Yeah. Edge of Destruction with the top just going. The bottom half of it was okay, but the top of it was just not there, really. Yeah. So that was fun. Watching lots of crotches in the TARDIS arguing.
Somebody coming to your Doctor Who club with a copy of the Ice Warriors, which was practically legendary. And then
but it's got like a time code obscuring half the picture.
My first copy of the Ice Warriors had a time code, absolutely. Yeah, they all come from the same source.
So shall we do some plot?
Yay!
Yeah. Okay. So we're in Egypt in 1911. It's an archaeological dig represented by some excellent stock footage, and Professor Marcus Scarman opens up an ancient tomb. And the thing I noticed is he goes in and goes, "Oh yes, this is clearly First Dynasty," and I'm looking at it thinking, looks more like 18th Dynasty to me. That's clearly Tutankhamun's chair in behind you. There's a famous piece. And they didn't do rock cut tombs in the First Dynasty. It was all mastabas,
For an ancient tomb, it's very clean.
Yeah,
it's very clean.
Yeah, well, First Dynasty, they would have been in a mud brick mastaba, which would have been bobbed out and emptied and opened to the sky, sort of during ancient Egyptian times. So,
he's very colonial, isn't he? He's very British.
Yeah. So we have to look past that anyway. So,
he's very much kind of like, I'm going to take all these things. These things are mine now. Kind of deserves what it gets.
It's the same as someone's supposed to be an expert and you kind of watching it, you think, no, they sound like a complete idiot.
About a person who travels around in a bigger on the inside and the outside telephone box.
I can believe that. So, he owns this tomb and all the workmen flee and he finds this inner chamber.
I love the workman. I love the guy at the back, third workman. Because the their level of acting kind of varies as they get closer to Scarman. So the one next to him, he's doing all the "oh no, Professor Scarman" stuff, and then the other guy's kind of acting a bit, and the one nearest the door, he's just some bloke with a moustache that they found from a local kebab shop, who just literally they've told him turn round and walk out the door, and he just turns round and walk. There's no acting there at all. He's brilliant. They should give him his own series.
Vic Tablian, who plays Ahmed, is one of the few people still alive from this story.
Ah,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fact.
You never know the kebab shop owner. Kebab shop guy might still be
I don't know about him. I'm sorry, I can't answer everything.
He had a bad kebab and that was it.
Yeah.
Maybe he just had a bad kebab before recording, and that's the best he could manage.
Yeah.
I can walk in gingerly and I can walk out again. You want any more than that? I threaten your floor. My studio floor. This. It's a shame if something happened to it.
Going to the toilet now. Fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, Scarman finds an inner chamber with the Eye of Horus on it. So he opens the door, and he's as I've written here, he's fucked. Basically, that's it. So we cut straight to the TARDIS.
Wobbling about in space.
Which obviously in the original version is the great Tom Baker. The Doctor's in a bit of a mood. He's saying that he's 750 years old and feeling a bit middle-aged. And Sarah's put a dress on and is taking the piss out of him royally, which is it's a nice scene.
Lovely scene. Yeah.
TARDIS looks beautiful. I love the way the TARDIS looks in that.
I love it. You see this set in 2 stories, this and Planet of Evil, and that's it. And it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I would say that's probably my favourite ever TARDIS. I really like that.
One of mine. I do like the doorway, the sort of interior doorway that mirrors the exterior doors.
Yeah.
Kind of zigzag edges. Always quite like that. First built for the Time Monster.
It's not going to be that.
No,
it's going to be the Coralie David Tennant TARDIS.
Yeah. It is. It is, yes.
With one of his many companions, or maybe 2 of his main. I don't know. One of his companions, a subset.
We should decide on that, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, we probably should.
Martha.
I like Martha. Why not?
I like Martha.
Yeah, I like Martha. I think Martha gets a raw deal.
She does.
Agreed.
She's very capable.
Yeah.
I'd much rather travel with her than Rose.
Yeah.
Intelligence is a bloody doctor,
Yeah.
And of course, you'd get to do the human nature thing here and challenge some preconceptions. Because of the time they're going to.
Yeah.
So I'd guess I'd say Martha.
We could be quite indulgent and say this is replacing Family of Blood, and then we can make it a 2-parter.
I feel like you could fit this into 45 minutes without.
Yeah, you probably could.
I think you could cut most of the middle 2 episodes really and not lose a huge amount. There's a lot of characters that come in just to get killed, and it's
Well, there's a kind of sense with this that we're kind of going, it's Pyramids of Mars. We can't cut anything for Pyramids of Mars.
It's not one of my favorites, I've got to admit. It really isn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Even
mad. That is mad.
That's just I find it quite hard going. And then the episode 4 happens, which we'll come to. Sarah Jane, individual, gets a vision of Sutekh, and then they land. Sorry?
She was called Sarah in the 70s.
Yeah, she's officially Sarah.
Can we not call her Sarah Jane? Seriously.
John Pertwee occasionally calls her Sarah Jane.
Yeah.
Sarah fucking Jane. She's just Sarah.
I think that's why she ended up as Sarah Jane in from RTD, because he was more familiar with like Pertwee. And so, he's a Pertwee child. So to him, she's Sarah Jane. But to us, children,
it's Sarah. Very hardly ever calls her Sarah Jane. Once in a while, but not often. This is nonsense. This is nonsense.
I think quite cool. I'll have to watch it again. But
Yeah.
Anyway, they land in this Egyptian storeroom in this old priory, which there's a bit of backstory because this apparently they were trying to get to Unit HQ, and this is Unit HQ from about 60 years earlier, or even 70 years earlier actually, because they're meant to be 980, aren't they?
We can cut all this, can't we? There's not going to be any reference to Unit.
Very much doubt it. Yeah, and of course there's lots of organ music in the background all the way through this bit, which is quite good Dudley Simpson. I guess organ music, pretty atmospheric.
Do you think Tennant's going to get I love an organ?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's going to be perfect over mummy cases. He's going to be kind of, look at this.
Look at that Martha.
They're gonna be doing the "Are you my mummy" gag repeatedly all the way through it. All the way through it. Every 10 minutes or so, probably for 2 minutes.
So there's some other characters around. None of them last very long. I think it's kind of the problem I have with this story. It's hard to put my finger on, but none of these characters really get developed. So, but we've got the servant guy is Collins, and he's presenting Warlock, who's an old friend of Scarman's, and he's presenting him to this Egyptian guy. I think it's called Ibrahim. Ibrahim
Namin. Ibrahim Namin.
Ibrahim Namin. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's playing the organ?
You read about the organ.
I was all ready with that character to go. Well, at least they cast a sort of North African guy, but he's kind of got a very British name. He certainly looks the part with no makeup, but he's kind of not, is he?
Who's he played by?
I think is he Welsh or something?
He comes back in Deadly Assassin next year, and it's just completely British.
Yeah.
So are you sure he's not blacked up for this?
I think he might be a little bit, yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know.
He's got that great.
He might have hit the salons.
Yeah,
he's got a fez.
He's got a fez.
He has got a fez.
He's got that shorthand for being Egyptian. He's wearing a fez.
Yeah, he's wearing a fez. Yes.
Yeah.
He's for Egypt.
Who would think that would work? I don't know. So yeah. This is at least set in 1911, I suppose. But anyway, he tells Warlock to go away. He's not interested in talking to him. He's looking after the house for Scarman, and Warlock's trying to find out what's happened to Scarman because Scarman disappeared.
Just playing Dr. Warlock in this, then.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, yeah, I suppose we should cast
an older actor.
An older actor, Helen Mirren.
Oh, Helen Mirren, then obviously.
Yeah. Scarman's an old lover. Well, not necessarily, but
just because she's a woman.
I know. What I see. Just trying to bring a different angle to it.
You probably would have that in the new series. You probably would have something like that, actually. Yeah.
The Scarmans are very much. I think they're quite closeted, aren't they? They're the two unmarried brothers. They're kind of, and then
they
don't
Warlock,
get
that much. They go and masturbate once in a while, but that's it.
Yeah. There's an unstated subtext to all these characters.
Do we watch a different story?
It was unstated. So we've got Collins, we've got Warlock, we've got Ibrahim. I mean, technically we've got Scarman as well. So I mean, any and all of these are available for casting.
Yeah, Scarman.
Scarman.
Was Bernard Archer still around by that point? He might have been.
Pretty ancient.
He'd be pretty ancient, yeah. Scarman, who's playing Scarman?
He got mentioned. He got mentioned the other episode, but I think Patrick Stewart would be good as Scarman. But they'd probably never be able to afford him.
Never get Patrick
Stewart, but yeah, it'd be lovely.
Having said that, we're casting Helen Mirren as bit parts all the time, so Patrick Stewart.
Yes,
Scarman.
Fantastic.
He's over from the States for a Star Trek convention. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
Mind you, if you could get Patrick Stewart as your guest star for a story, wouldn't you save him for Sutek?
But Sutek's just a voice, though, isn't he? You know, you want to.
Yeah, they wouldn't get a star and not see his face.
I suppose not. No.
Thousand.
Yeah.
Well, Sutek might not look like he does. I mean, Sutek might be just blurk with a fierce man sitting in his chair.
Actually, I've said that. I said they wouldn't get a star and not show his face. They got Ian McKellen, didn't they? And they only used his voice.
That's true. Yeah.
In Matt Smith's era.
That's probably the only way that he had time to stand up, though, isn't it? It's going to, all right, voice for you.
I tell you who, Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Grant.
Kind of looks similar. I've got that kind of,
Yeah,
he could do the emaciated thing.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be quite nice, yeah.
Right.
Looks like an animated cadaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd make a great cadaver, Richard E. Grant. Yeah. Because he's so talented.
Because he's very, yes.
Yeah.
Apart from when he's in Doctor Who, when he just basically seems to just say the words, to my mind.
Yeah, I think that
really
it's a
the
bit.
effort in.
Yeah, it's a bit take the money and run. I think that
it kind of is. It kind of is. Yeah, which no one in the original Pyramids is doing. They're already working at it. I think.
Yeah,
he does better in the Matt Smith episodes than he does in Scream with a Shulker, I think.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going on. I just think he in both. Not that I've seen much of Shulker, but. Yeah. Well, I think I watched episode 1 and was so turned off by him literally just reading the script. I thought, can't be bothered.
Yeah, I struggled with the whole
Great
thing.
Intelligence.
Yeah,
I just kind of thought maybe you should just be called The Intelligence because this ain't great.
There's that episode of The Simpsons where Krusty the Clown goes into a recording studio to do something, and he just rattles off all his lines in the script one after the other, and just throws the pages away like that. And you quite often get that impression with actors that have done kind of voice work.
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Yeah. It's a great thing you should seek out on the internet where, I mean, obviously Prince Harry's released his autobiography recently, Spare.
Yeah.
And someone's done an impression of Stephen Toast reading a chapter from Spare. And it's quite a spot-on impression of, I've forgotten his name, the guy that plays him.
Matt Berry.
Matt Berry. They're doing a very good Matt Berry impression. But it's great.
Have you seen? I think it's an impression of Matt Berry doing a nature documentary about mating kangaroos. That's worth seeing. That's hilarious. It could be him, but I think it's an impression. Kind of like, a third kangaroo comes in when the head one is just about to mate with him. It's kind of like, fuck, who's this? Where's he come from? Now the female is sexually aroused. I can't do the voice, but you get the gist.
Yes.
Can we have Matt Berry and Affairs as the?
Yes.
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 Or Sutek. Imagine him as Sutek.
I'm not getting the fear. I'm not getting the.
My God, I am. And possibly not in the right way.
Abase yourself, you groveling insect.
We could hang on to him for Lawrence Scarven, maybe.
Well, that's Pyramids of Mars wrecked.
He's actually a reasonable straight actor. I've seen him.
I'm your brother. Brother.
Is that his real voice, though? Does he always talk like that in everything he's in?
Probably not. Probably not. Yeah. I've never heard him talk not like that.
No, neither have I. I mean,
it's talks like that in real life.
It's a very sustained bit. Yeah.
It's like Richard Ayoade. You think, do you talk like that all the time?
Yeah.
It certainly seems you talk like that all the time. But...
Yeah. Well, every time I've seen him, yeah.
I've seen him in person. Richard Ayoade as the Egyptian guy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Someone of colour, maybe, for that part.
I'm waiting for Sutek the Destroyer. I, Ibrahim Namin, your faithful servant, etc., etc. It's a terrible impression, but you get the gist.
Yes.
I'm rejoicing in your power.
Thank you, Doctor.
Ibrahim shoots Warlock.
Yep.
But the doctor manages to sort of drag him away and save him. So he's a bit injured, but he's okay. And they drag him off. So Ibrahim goes to get his mummy.
Yep.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, actually, when he tries to shoot Warlock, the doctor does something clever with his scarf and sort of hoiks the gun away, so he just wounds him. It's not going to happen times, is it?
No, you have a different bit of business.
He hasn't really got any clothing gimmicks as Tennant.
No, he'd use his sonic screwdriver. He's sonic screwdriving.
He'll use it like a weapon, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets his mummy, which is a big, well, in the original at least, it's a big kind of angular robot mummy thing.
I don't think they'll change them that much. I think they'll be fairly similar.
They might sort of make them a bit faster, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like they do something different with them, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know what either. I'm sorry. I can't help that.
Yeah. I don't think they'd go full sort of Mummy on the Orient Express because that's not kind of convincing as a robot, is it?
No,
it looks straight as a mummy, but it doesn't look like a robot.
Yeah. Okay, so they get chased through the gardens here. Sarah Jane, the original companion, goes on to get Lawrence, who's living in the grounds in his own little hut. Not a hut, but he's got some kind of...
He's got a lodge.
Lodge. That's it. He's got a lodge. He lives in the lodge. There's a wacky
I hope it's called
house
Bernard. If I ever get a lodge, that's what I'm going to call it.
Bernard Lodge.
Good.
Made clear by Paul there. Thank you, Paul.
Thank God someone does.
With subtitles for the slow of thinking.
Because none of the listeners of this are ever going to have heard of Bernard Lodge.
Who? It's got this whacking great house there, and he makes his brother live in the lodge, though. I mean, it seems a bit unfair.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
That'll be a thing in the new, but that'll be, there'll have been some brotherly warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't approve of Lawrence's lifestyle.
Lawrence is a bit loose with all his science and his stuff like that.
He doesn't approve of him inviting floozies around or young gentlemen or something.
Mummies or whatever. Doesn't like his Marconi scope. Thinks it's tampering with the forces of nature.
So Ibrahim's hunting them, but there's a bit of business really. But the upshot is they managed to get back to Lawrence's lodge.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence Lodge. Richard Cast Lawrence. Played in
Lawrence. How can you replace Michael Sheard?
Yeah.
Rory Kinnear.
Good. Good. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking at first I thought Roy Kinnear. I thought no, he's well dead by then.
Yeah.
So I then thought Rory Kinnear, who's practically the
Rory
same.
Kinnear hate Doctor Who though, isn't he? I think he's been quoted as.
Is he?
Well, people kept connecting him with the part of the Doctor, and he was like, no.
All the sweeter to force him into it then.
Yeah. Rory Kinnear in this round. Yeah.
I vaguely thought for a moment, since we've got Patrick Stewart in it, of getting Riker, but no, that's probably silly.
It's probably a stretch too far.
Didn't we decide against Patrick Stewart in favour of Richard E. Grant?
Richard E. Grant.
Oh yes, we did, didn't we? Yeah. Does that mean we can say Patrick Stewart for Sutekh then?
I suppose we could.
No, having said that, Gabriel Wolfe is still alive. Could just be Gabriel Wolfe.
Well, he appeared in the Tennant Era, didn't he?
Yeah, and he
did.
did.
He was the Satan pit. Well, he wasn't the Satan pit. He was the Satan in the pit.
Yeah. He was the Satan of the Satan pit. Yeah.
He was the Satan of the Satan pit. He wasn't actually Satan.
No.
Yeah.
Ursat Satan.
Yeah.
The Ursat Satan pit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Let me check what's going on in this plot. Okay, so Ibrahim goes.
Having done plot one side, sorry. Having done plot that one time, I really appreciate your patience here. Give me a new appreciation.
So as I say, by the end of the episode, they've kind of got together in Lawrence's lodge, and they see his Marconi scope thing, which is like it's meant to be like a sort of radio telescope thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's getting a signal from Mars,
and
it says "Beware, Sutekh."
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. They decide to go back to the house. This is where it gets a bit to and fro. You see, I think we would simplify this.
Yeah.
But we get back to the house for the climax of the episode 1, which is where Scarman comes back through the space-time tunnel thing.
Mm-hmm.
They probably call it a wormhole now, wouldn't they? But
probably, yeah. Done with a device called the chromoscope, which is a Victorian thing that sort of does light patterns on a wall.
I thought it looked familiar. Yeah. So it's not Marconi scope. That's just bullshit. Yeah. So Lawrence comes back. Ibrahim dead. He's gone. Collins is gone.
Yeah, Ibrahim. Yeah. It's a high body count, this one.
He has a really high body count. Yeah.
I really like the kind of black outfit that the kind of avatar of Marcus is wearing when he comes down the corridor. But it's in for literally 30 seconds.
We're meant to think it's Sutekh, aren't we? And then it turns out to be
some kind of costume designer slaved over that, and it's in for literally less than a minute.
Having said that, it's a nice black robe, and it's one of the heads that goes inside the mummies anyway. So all they have to do is cast another one from the mold. It's not that much work.
I didn't know it was the thing from inside the mummy, but that makes a sense why it's such a weird sort of.
It's the same shape, penile shape, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of Oh, yeah, of course it is. Yeah. That's a great, quite a good effect at the time, isn't it? With the smoke coming out of his shoes, and he puts his hand.
The walking down the steps. So that's such a complicated effect, and they just did it anyway. That's great. They didn't have to do that. That's one of those. That's a grace note, Yeah, it's lovely.
In the Tennant era, it'd be like CG smoke, wouldn't it? It'd be like
probably
somehow. Yeah. Okay, so they've all gone back there. Lawrence and the Doctor and Martha. Lawrence recognizes his brother, and the Doctor has to try and drag him out of the way.
Yep.
And then Marcus and the mummies, they're setting up a deflection shield around the house so that nobody can escape. With these they got these
flasks.
Yeah, they look a bit like Ushabti.
They are Ushabti.
Yeah. Anyway, so they put them around the house. It's like 4 corners, the compass or whatever, and that kind of stops anyone from escaping. And there's a bit of dialogue where we learn about Sutekh and Horus, and that they're Osirans. They're an ancient race of incredibly powerful beings.
Oh, those Osirans. They were amazing.
Wow. That was unbelievable, Martha. They fought the Time Lords. Who? No one.
Oh, that planet. Oh,
yeah. It's gone.
You're all burned, Martha.
Oh, God. Oh, God, Martha. Yeah. And there's a bit where the Doctor touches the space-time tunnel and gets zapped and gets knocked out. This is kind of padding, I think, but they kind of have to hide him for a bit. And the action kind of moves to this kind of poacher who looks like he's been filmed in Day for Night, but I'm not sure if it's meant to be Day for Night.
It's Day for Night, yeah.
Yeah, is it Day for Night? Yeah. So this poacher's got his shed inside the grounds, oddly. But yeah, he's kind of poaching away. And he's kind of
Bernard Cribbins? Bernard Cribbins?
Can we not say Bernard Cribbins for Wilf? Would that not be a good idea?
Is Wilf going to exist?
Wilf is
going to be played by someone like Peter Butterworth in 1966. You know that.
We've already had Wilf. We've had Wilf in.
Have we?
Yeah. What was he in? We had him turn up in. Oh God. Fuck's sake. Names and new episodes. It's kind of. Come back in a moment. That Matt Smith episode, we turned it into a David Tennant episode, and we put Wilf in it as the one with the tower, the Shard. It's got the Shard in it. That one.
Oh, that one.
Bells
of St. John. Fuck, that was hard work.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, not Bernard Cribbins then.
Would we even have the poacher in it? I feel like we could cut the poacher quite easily.
Probably wouldn't actually. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I love the way they're all kind of you're saying he lives on the grounds, and they're all kind of it's just Clemens the poacher, and you're thinking, you know he's there, you know he's poaching. Why are you putting up with this?
Oh yeah, it's Clemens the poacher. We've given him his own shed with his gelignite in it.
The gelignite in it, yeah. Well, maybe he was spreading his gelignite all over the place. Look, we'll give you a shed as long as you keep the gelignite in the shed. It can sweat away quite happily, but just keep it in there, and we're fine, right? Maybe Clemens the poacher's got something on them. Maybe he's got the legs.
It just feels like it's an official position, isn't it? Yeah, we've got the gardener, we've got the poacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very Audrey Forbes Hamilton, really, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing is, he could. I don't really understand why he's the poacher, because he could be like the groundsman or something and serve exactly the same function.
That would be
because he's got gelignite and blows fish up.
Yeah.
That's why.
Okay. Yeah.
He could be a groundsman who just likes blowing things up.
Justified.
It could be the builder. Maybe they've got some builders on site.
The builder. They haven't got builders. Why do they have builders?
He could need his gelignite for blowing up stumps.
Look, he's the poacher. Leave it be. And we're cutting him anyway.
We'll cut him anyway.
Which actually is a problem, because then why is the gelignite in a shed? We can't really cut him.
A plot hole. Yeah.
Yeah. We can truncate him.
We can definitely truncate him, because this goes back and forth quite a lot. Yeah.
I mean, he can kind of turn up and get killed by mummies, and they can go, "Oh shit, the mummies kill people." You know, that's the moment where they go, "Oh, they'll squeeze you between their massive tits, man, Divin."
Oh no.
Because that's how they talk.
Massive tits.
Jimmy Nail. He could be Jimmy Nail.
We've had Jimmy Nail.
Oh man, we massive tits.
She's seen too much.
Are you ready to travel through time with us? Then check out Traveling the Vortex, a Doctor Who podcast. For nearly 7 years and more than 500 episodes, we've traveled from one end of the vortex to the other, making different stops with different doctors, reviewing everything from TV stories to audio plays, from books to comics, and more. Sean, Keith, and Glenn take you on a journey through 50-plus years of Doctor Who episodes and spin-off materials. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, so be sure to check us out. And now, we're a proud member of Direction Point, a Doctor Who podcast network. You're listening to Time Ram, a Direction Point podcast.
So I mean, the poacher's only really there to kind of explain to us that we're inside this barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And he witnesses the mummies killing Warlocks. The Warlock's gone. Yeah. And then
Oh, he's Roberta Tovey's dad, isn't he? That's who plays him. Roberta Tovey's dad, George Tovey.
George Tovey.
It is. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wish to have him played by Russell Tovey, just for a laugh. I know he's not really any relation at all, but you know, he's a Tovey.
We could have a female poacher. We could have a female poacher played by Roberta Tovey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who then gets squeezed to death between the massive tits of two women. Brilliant. That's the kind of Doctor Who I like watching.
Weeping away.
If I was RTD, I'd so bring Roberta Tovey back. So put her in the series.
He might, seems like anything's possible at the moment.
He might.
Alternative Susan.
Mm.
No, just as a character, Decent actress, why not?
Yeah. So the Doctor wakes up. This is, sorry, I'm just trying to work out what it's because it's kind of running around. There's a lot of running around here, which we probably can't.
Mm-hmm.
Have we had that bit where Clemens shoots Marcus? And
he does do that around this point. Yeah. He shoots him.
Yeah. We really do need him, don't we? Yeah, we can't cut him.
Mm.
Yeah.
I suppose we could cut that sequence, but it's lovely. I love that bit.
I did. I like that.
The smoke goes back into him. Yeah.
It must have been a bastard to film, but to do all that backwards walk, because he walks across the entire room backwards, presumably.
Yeah,
the whole shot is done backwards. Yeah. Bernard
Yeah.
Archer describes it once. He said it wasn't that bad to do. You just had to learn to do it.
Yeah.
Good acting. I mean, he's great actor, Bernard Archer, obviously, but
tremendous.
Yeah. And he looks very corpse-like all the way through, doesn't he? It's kind of explained that he is basically dead. He's just been he's been puppeted by Sutek's mental power.
Tennant will be a lot more relatable. He'll be a lot nicer about it than Tom. Tom really doesn't seem to give a fuck about anyone's feelings in this, or the Fourth Doctor rather. And Sarah calls him on it. But Tennant's going to be, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but he's an animated human cadaver. He's really going to give a shit for a moment.
Which Tom definitely doesn't in this one.
Really doesn't. Yeah. Probably how Tom was really feeling.
Yeah.
He's at his harshest. I think the writing varies from story to story, but he's at his harshest in this one, isn't he? He's really,
He's at his harshest in this season. I think there's some seeds of doom. He's kind of aggressive.
Yeah. Of course, this one was written by Louis Griefer, who then disappeared. It wasn't available for rewrites, and so then Robert Holmes. Presumably just did 100% of the final draft.
He did 100. Yeah, it totally wasn't written by Louis Griefer.
It feels like Robert Holmes.
As far as I understand it, Louis Griefer, Robert Holmes used bits of the outline, as in Sutek and mummies and Mars, and that's it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the rest was all Robert Holmes. It totally is the Robert Holmes story, and it really feels like it.
Mm.
Yeah,
it's where Robert Holmes lived in his head. About 1911,
So they need to block Sutek's mental power. And they're trying to find a way to do that. Meanwhile, the mummies are building a rocket. They're going to fire this rocket at Mars, and the idea is they destroy this pyramid on Mars, which is sending the power that keeps Sutek trapped on his chair.
The thing that's kind of holding Sutek
in the tomb in Egypt.
Yeah.
It's quite complex.
I think it'd look a bit more like a rocket now, and not like a tent.
It doesn't look much like it basically looks like a tent. Basically, that they're building a tent.
The Sirens, for all their apparent brains, they're a bit. I mean, why wouldn't you put Sutek on Pluto or something like that?
Yeah,
nowhere near Mars, nowhere even adjacent.
Yeah.
But
Pyramids of Pluto doesn't sound as good.
No.
You never get to see the pyramids. Neptune. It's really disappointing in that way. I want to see the pyramids. So we do get a nice little scene where Sarah goes, "Hang on, I know this didn't happen in 1911."
Yeah,
the Doctor's like, He takes her back to 1980, where they see that all life has been destroyed.
I think they totally do this. I think they'd absolutely do this scene now.
That's worth
it's actually it's not fairly early on with Martha, is it? But if we're doing Human Nature, or do we decide we're not doing that? What are we replacing?
I mean, I guess I was mentally equating it with Gridlock, but I mean,
if it is quite early on, then that's she's got to learn that lesson now. He's fed up with her shit about why can't you change things? You can change everything. It's going right. Well, here's why. I can't. You understand? I can't, Martha.
Some points are fixed in time, and this one just
I was just thinking he would have cast as Lawrence, because he's great in this bit as well. Going from that whole childish glee running around the TARDIS and kind of being impressed by it, and then he really just brings it down at that point. He's really kind of like, this is fascinating, but to me it seems like he has actually been a bit affected by it.
I think that scene where in the original, obviously you've got them landing on future Earth and it's devastated. They'd have them in orbit around the planet with their sort of magic bubble around the TARDIS, watching the Earth kind of like crack into bits or something.
And burning.
Incredible effect.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. It'd be bigger. It wouldn't just be like some.
They're definitely much bigger effects in it. Yeah. I mean,
they could be found in 2023.
I mean, like you say, I mean, the rocket would actually look like a rocket. It would. There would be a bit more effects.
Which, to me, to be honest, would be less imaginative. I quite like the design. It's a pyramid. Yeah, of course, it's a pyramid. All things about pyramids.
You can find a happy medium. I think
it transposes with its projection, and you're thinking,
don't we all?
That sounds like it's an explanation, but I don't actually know what that means.
So I think so.
It sounds like it makes sense, but
I thought about that. I think what it does is that it kind of, it projects an image of itself to there and then transposes with it. So it doesn't actually fly. It kind of teleports. You put your image there, and then you just switch the two. So presumably there's an image of it sitting on Earth there, and everyone's just pointing at it, going, "Well, look, picture of a pyramid, nice, liking it. It's going on like."
Okay, so if Sutekh destroys this pyramid, he's free and he can destroy all life, which is what he's quite keen on. So they all go back to the lodge, and the Doctor wants to block Sutekh's mental power to knock out Marcus.
Yeah.
I
wonder if Richard E. Grant's kind of going, bastards, at the thought of that. How dare you?
I'll take a dozen of them. The Doctor's planning to block Sutekh's mental power using Lawrence's equipment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is all happening. The poacher's getting killed by mummies around this point.
Yeah.
Big tits. But the Doctor switches on this equipment, but Lawrence is realised that this means that his brother's definitely dead, and he sabotages his own equipment.
Yeah.
And then the mummies break in, and that's the end of episode 2 in the original version.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they have a bit of a ding dong. With the mummies. And there's some stuff with Ibrahim's ring. Yes.
Yeah.
The ring. Is it?
Careful how you talk about that. This is Doctor Who fan. I'm listening to this.
Ibrahim's ring. Is it significant? I'm not sure. It's quite a convenient ring, I suppose.
Well, he used it to control the mummies early on.
Yes.
And so they used it to control the mummies again. It's a nice callback, actually. It makes sense.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because they managed to knock one of these mummies out, don't they? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They just return to control and they go away. Oh, yeah.
They keep one.
There's one left. Yeah, there's one left.
It smashes the machine, and that seems to kind of poleaxe it.
Knocks it out. Yeah.
Smash the machinery.
This is around the point we're in episode 3 in the original version. They decide to blow up the rocket because Lawrence's equipment's fucked. So this is where they get some Sweaty Gelignite from the poacher's shed.
Great band name, isn't it? Sweaty Gelignite.
That's his Poacher's Shed, actually.
Poacher's Shed.
That's the name of their first album.
Because I'm back up North Pole and I are sinking now. By the next time round, we'll be talking in unison together.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And at number 2 this week, we've got Poacher's Shed by Sweaty Gelignite.
So, while they're doing that, they go and get some Gelignite. Marcus returns to Lawrence's lodge, and they get a nice little scene together, the two brothers, and then he kills him.
Is it nice? Is nice the
word?
Nice.
No, nice is kind of sarcastic.
I mean, I think this is a great scene. I think this is a really horrible. I was thinking earlier after watching Pyramids earlier, I thought, Jesus Christ, Sarah's made of iron. Because all the events in this are really horrible and actually quite emotionally horrible.
Yeah.
It's all very small and intimate. You see, it's not thousands of people being killed over there somewhere. It's people being killed in front of you.
Yeah.
And people you care about.
Yeah, I mean, Lawrence is tortured by the thought that maybe he can get his brother back. He can restore him to normal. And then right at the end,
Grant just comes in and goes, bastard, and starts strangling him. Poor Richard E. Grant. He's never going to escape with Neil, is he?
Marcus says, "Oh, the doctor says you're dead," and he goes, "What fucker said that?"
Yeah, exactly. Bastard must have died.
This is the Doctor. Present time, the High Council of Tylos. Keeper of the legacy of Rassilon.
So Lawrence is gone. Doctor and Martha get back, and the Doctor disguises himself as a mummy so they can get this Jeremiah to the rocket. And I mean, this is a bit with the director, Paddy Russell. She made Tom actually wear the mummy costume, and he really whinged about it. And he was kind of going,
I think she was absolutely right, because you can totally see that it's Tom.
You can absolutely tell that it's him in there.
Yeah. You know, she said you have a very distinctive body language. She was 100% right.
Yeah. Absolutely. I put it on Team Paddy for that one. Yeah.
But Tom didn't like that. It's only his second season already. He doesn't like being told what to do by the director.
Yes.
Of the story that he's acting in. It's kind of a relationship. But there you go.
Yeah. We can see which trajectory we're heading in, can't we?
Yeah, he's on a trajectory already as Tom. He's off.
Yes.
I mean, he's great in this. He is really good in this story, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's putting in the performance, absolutely. There's no question. Yeah. And the same for Horror Fang Rock, which is one of my favourites.
Yes.
Brilliant in that.
And Elizabeth Sladen's also blinding in this. I think she's great. I love the stuff with Sarah and the gun that we're coming up to shortly.
Yeah, when she's just loading it and all that while she's talking to him.
Like she knows what she's doing.
It's very effective, and I feel like Martha would be as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Freema Agyeman, I think she'd be brilliant in this.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
As would Tennant, I suspect.
Yeah. Give him some slightly darker.
I kind of picture his mummy costume as having a kind of, somehow the head opens up and you can see that it's Tennant in there.
It'll be that. It'll be a whole thing. Yeah, it'll be the whole thing will just sort of split open in CGI and stuff like that, and you'll step inside.
Yeah.
And it'll close again, and it won't be half as good.
So anyway, one way or another, they get some Jeremiah onto the rocket, and Martha shoots it, and you can see the explosion start, but then it kind of sucks back in.
Great moment, that. Love that.
Very nice.
They really got their use out of that backwards tape machine that belongs to the sports department.
I'm going to have to be technical and say that was done on film, so that
one was on film.
Oh, right, that one.
You just print the film backwards. That's Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
So they contain the explosion
by mental force.
By mental force.
Yes.
So the Doctor now decides he needs to break Sutek's concentration.
Sir. And wait, this is my first memory of Doctor Who coming up now.
Wow. So he goes down the space-time tunnel.
That's the one. That's the bit.
That's it. Yes.
I was as a 3-year-old going, no, don't you kill you. So I obviously got the gist of the story.
Yeah.
Really, really freaked out for the Doctor at that point. I thought he was going to die.
Yeah. Well, he's in the tomb and Sutek's basically killing him. And then the rocket explodes.
Yeah.
End of episode.
End of episode. Great end of episode.
Yeah.
Tom really sells all that torture stuff. Sorry.
I do think that Paddy Russell holds the end of the episodes a little bit too long. Episode 2, where Sarah's got the mummy's hand around her throat. It's a little bit too long of her kind of gurning. She's not gurning, but acting, Cut earlier.
Could have been a
And here I'd cut the moment the light hits the Doctor and he's slammed against the wall, but you don't, you see him, you see the light kind of dying down, and then you go back to Sutek. I'd have just cut it at that point.
Yeah.
Episode 1's cut perfectly.
Yeah.
I guess it's a slightly old-fashioned editing style, I suppose.
No, but that doesn't happen in other stories at the same time.
Sure, yeah. Well, she was quite old school, wasn't she, Paddy Russell? She'd been around.
Yeah, she was fairly old school. I mean, being involved with and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Rudolph Cartier, didn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she cuts Horror of Fang Rock perfectly, so I don't know, it's just a thing. Maybe it comes from growing up, well, not growing up, but seeing first the compiled version.
Yeah. So, Sutek is basically torturing the Doctor. They have a bit of a debate. He's saying, your evil is my good.
I mean, this whole bit's lovely, isn't it? This stuff between Sutek and the Doctor. It's basically just actors.
Yeah.
And good writing.
Yes. I mean, he forces him to admit that he's a Time Lord.
Yeah.
Martha's been caught by the mummies, and Scarman. Basically, the Doctor's forced to agree to take Scarman to Mars.
Yeah.
His TARDIS.
Yeah. Well, he's actually possessed, isn't he?
Is he? Yes, I suppose he is.
Yeah, Sutek actually just goes into his mind, just wanders in and goes, right, my mind's in yours. And
yes, that's right.
He's brain dead.
Well, that'd be interesting.
One of the things
see
that explains how powerful Sutekh is.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see Tennant approach that. Yeah, Bob's doing his whole sort of eyes roll back in his head thing, isn't he?
Of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, he's not. He's just doing a kind of blank stare most of the time. He's not doing the full eyes roll back bit.
He does occasionally, though.
Yeah.
So yes, basically, the Doctor's controlled. He goes back to the house and takes them to Mars. This is where I think in 21st century this would look considerably more exciting. We'd have maybe some CG of the actual pyramids. We get to see the pyramids.
This would look better.
I think the interiors would look very cavernous, and they'd be sort of enhanced, and
there'd be digital map paintings and things like that.
Yeah, they might actually film it in a sort of like quarry or something like that, and mat it in a roof or what. I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that. Something big.
Yeah, they might go on location.
Yeah, probably would do in location somewhere, but
Egypt.
I don't think Egypt has those large spaces. I think you'd be better off just.
No, that's true. Actually,
Millennium Hall in Cardiff.
They probably just build sets.
Yeah.
And then reuse them again later in the season, kind of obviously.
Yeah.
I was watching something recently. I think it was the thing about the making of Moon Knight, the Marvel series, and they were talking about they did some filming there at the pyramids, and they're saying how you've got if you're filming them just as the pyramids, you've got to shoot them from a certain angle, because what they never show you is that the city is behind there. And you never see that, because they always shoot it from the angle where you can't see the city. But
it's a shame.
And I'd never realized that before, because I've never been there. So
no, neither have I. But it's Cairo's expanding so fast; it's just completely encroached. It's still a shame.
Yeah.
So what was I saying? So they're on Mars. So the plan is to knock out this signal that's controlling Sutekh, keeping him stuck to his chair, stuck on his cushion. So
it's Matt Irvin's hand, by the way. That's Matt Irvin's hand.
Is it?
Yep.
Matt Irvin had his hand under his bum.
The identity of the hand is confirmed.
You heard it here first, folks, probably.
Well, no, because I read it somewhere, so no. I mean, obviously not. Matt Irvin didn't tell me personally.
You heard it here first, folks, probably.
I think we should still have the hand in this version. It's like Thing from the Addams Family.
Lieutenant going, it's a hand, love a hand. Hello.
He just sort of plumps his cushion a bit when he's stood up.
Should be Neil Gordon's hand. It's just there now. So.
I mean, if you were an all-powerful god who was paralysed in the plate, you'd create a hand, wouldn't you? You'd want a hand.
You'd want a little bit of pleasure to get you through the centuries, wouldn't you?
What do you think? What are you two thinking he'd be doing with his hand?
Yeah. There's a reason why.
Abase yourself, you grovelling insect.
Absolutely. Yeah. He needs a bit of companionship. Maybe it's the hand of Horus. Just
the hand of Horus.
I mean, not literally Horus's, but it's never mind. Let's not analyze the hand too much.
Well, Horus is probably half right.
Yeah.
Look that one out for yourself, folks.
So it's a shame these bits look so cheap in the original, because it is all one set. But they land on Mars.
I like the design though. I quite like the patterns on the walls and stuff. It's quite nice.
Yeah, it's nice to put together. It does feel like they've run out of money. But
Sarah says it reminds her of the City of the Exxons. You compare it to the City of the Exxons, it's much, much nicer.
That's very sly though, because they're owning the fact
it's the same thing.
Essentially the same thing.
Yes,
they've lampshaded that they've reused this bit. I've
occasionally wondered if Elizabeth Sladen in rehearsals went, "Hang on a minute, we did this in the last Pertwee era."
I wouldn't be at all surprised. Yeah.
And Tom kind of went, "What fucker is John Pertwee?" That sort of bit,
So Sutekh doesn't need the Doctor anymore, so the mummies kill him. And they don't kill. Well, they don't kill Sarah in the original. They don't kill Martha.
They don't kill Martha.
They just head
irrelevant,
off.
Presumably, just irrelevant.
Yeah.
The arrogance of the Osirans.
Yeah.
TM.
So as usual, after being killed, the Doctor recovers. He gets better. And then they're basically pursuing his mummies.
Hello, my throat, and so on. Oh, blimey.
We got to get after these mummies. Allons-y.
Yep, there'll be a lot of Allons-y.
Yeah. So they go through the pyramid.
It's a place, doesn't it, in Pyramids of Mars?
Yeah.
This pyramid's full of traps, which we could probably make a bit more varied in the Tennant era. I won't go into each individual trap.
No.
There's a few of them. They're all pretty similar. Say I got stuck in a tube for a bit.
Yep. I mean, we all do from time to time, don't we? Let's face it.
Yeah.
We've all been stuck in a tube. Yeah.
Having recently been living in London, I identify with that.
I really like that sort of the one always tells lies and one always tells the truth thing. I mean, it's not original even then, but it works quite well. So.
Yeah. I mean, for the kiddies in the audience, it would have been
it makes Dr. Well clever and all that sort of bit. So
yeah. So Marcus destroys the Eye of Horus and dies.
Yeah.
That's it.
In terms of that shriveled corpse thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Which is quite
that'd
horrible.
be all Last Crusade, wouldn't it? In the new version, he'd like his flesh crumbling from his face.
Would they do that? I doubt they'd do that actually, even nowadays, because of time slot. Probably a bit horrific.
Well,
I mean,
if he turned to dust though, rather than gore, I think you get away with somebody turning to dust.
I see him turn to dust and skull. Yeah,
like the sand things in that sand episode. That's sandy. Capaldi one.
Yeah, that
Sleep
one.
No More.
Sleep No More.
Oh, Sleep No More. Yes.
Oh, Sleep No More.
Sleep No More. Yes. Yeah. So Sutek's free. And that's it, basically.
I love that shout. That's great. You know, when I left school for the last time, I shouted that as I ran away from it. I totally channeled Sutek, as it were. Deliberately.
Yeah.
And then the Doctor goes to time factor. So they run back to the TARDIS, return to Earth.
Listen, I think the way Tom does it will be exactly the way Tennant does it as well.
Tennant channels Tom.
Can't run, and like they're off.
Yeah, I think Tennant channels Tom quite often. I mean, he's obviously of the same age as ourselves, and Tom.
Indeed.
And he reminds me of Tom on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Which is fair enough, you know.
Yeah.
So they went back to the TARDIS. All the doors open. They went back to the TARDIS. They returned to Earth. Sutek's standing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matt Irvin's there with him. Yeah,
Matt Irvin's there.
Yeah.
The hands going in the new version, of course, will give the hand some pathos. Kind of, you're not going to leave me, are you? It's like, finished.
One finger, they go.
You promised me. You promised me a bit with a wrist.
Anything for an elbow.
2,000 years.
Stuck up your bum.
This is what I get. Oh, blimey. Never serve a god. They said they were right.
So Sutek's coming down the tunnel towards them. It's quite a nice effect for the 70s. He's coming down this tunnel, getting bigger.
Until he gets too big to get out of it.
To fit on it. Yeah.
If we just stop the zoom a little bit earlier, it'd be great.
Yeah, they're over it very slightly, But the Doctor turns it into a time trap. He sends Sutek into the far future.
Mm-hmm.
He lasts 7,000 years and then he dies.
Basically, you can never get to the end of the time tunnel.
Yeah, basically,
the time tunnel. So it's a really long time tunnel.
It's a really long time tunnel. Yeah.
Kind of like cricket in the 70s when you're waiting for something good to come on telly. Endless cricket. That's what I think of it being like, just forever. Cricket.
Yeah. Well, my family were quite keen on cricket, so we would sit and watch cricket. So there would be cricket on for hours and hours.
Right.
5-day test match, anyone? Yes.
In houses in the north, we turn over to ITV.
I think cricket must have been on the BBC in those days. Not anymore.
It was. Yeah.
And yes, the snooker. We watch a lot of snooker as well. So yeah.
You turned that remarkably sane.
Have I?
Considering.
I think I've ended up hating snooker just from constantly thinking, what, they've cancelled Star Trek The Next Generation again?
They were always
because it was literally everywhere.
It was overrunning, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Cancelled.
It was literally every other week with Next Generation that they'd cancel it because of the snooker.
Yeah. See, the problem with snooker is it can go to 16 frames, or it can go to like 30. Or it's kind of, you can't quite predict.
It's really fucking boring.
Yes.
We're getting slightly off track here.
Yes.
So
makes you yearn for a hand. You know, when you're watching snooker or cricket endlessly in the 70s, you want a hand. You want that hand to turn up.
You want the hand to be there.
Hand to play with.
Yeah.
Let's go and play with the hand. Innocently, in a child way.
Oh, not that.
I did specify the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
The filth I have to work with, listener. The filth.
You have a pet hand just following you around. Just
pet hand, that'd be fantastic.
Like the thing.
You wouldn't even have to feed it. How's it going to eat? It's a hand. Hasn't got a mouth orifice. An orifice. Yeah, okay, we are getting off track.
It'd be handy to take to school, though, wouldn't it? You know.
It would be handy. It'd be handy in general.
If there's a bully, you know, hit him.
It just leaps up.
Hit him now.
Yeah.
Strike him waffly
down his throat. You know, straight away. Pity Matt Irvin though, just sitting there going, "Where's my hand gone?
Yeah,
I was going to build a truck with that, and now I can't. Damn.
Why's my hand come back all bruised? Where's it been?
Yeah.
I can't.
How am I going to operate my digital watch now?
Anyway,
so yes.
There's quite a clever little bit at the end here where basically the signal takes 2 minutes to get back from Mars so they can outrun it in the TARDIS.
Yes.
Sutek's still being held long enough for them to set this trap for it. Although, of course, the Doctor's got a time machine, so he could go back in time.
Yeah.
Like an hour.
Yeah, and he can completely operate it now with
Tennant, doesn't he? Yeah.
Well, he kind of can in Pyramids of Mars because it goes right back to where they're supposed to be.
He does, yeah. I think he's got a fast return switch, but yeah.
Yeah, there'll be some techno shite about force fields or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, he will have fixed the fast return switch fairly early on in the series. I'm putting a spring in that. That's a good idea. Remember that. Keep boiling it and just look after the fast return switch.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, everything just goes really, really LSD for no good reason.
Oil the fast return switch, we did every time it goes in.
Yeah, fixing the fast return switch. Yeah, do that. Good.
Yeah.
So
note going, maybe replace this switch.
So a fire breaks out in this old priory, and they leave. End of story.
Yep.
Basically, that's it.
Ensplenment. Should we unspleen?
Let's unspleen. Unspleen. Is it going to be better? So I think, yeah. I mean, it's absolutely going to. I think it can. I was with Paul. I was going to suggest it's a two-parter, but actually, no, it can be condensed into one. It'd be a really tough story. I don't think any of the plot beats need to be cut.
No, I think you could just rattle through them.
Same story, basically.
Yeah,
nothing has changed very much in storytelling terms.
Yeah. See, because a lot of the stuff, like the sort of traipsing through the woods and what have you, that you've got in the original would be a lot faster, wouldn't it? It'd be a lot faster.
We'll just be at the shed, you know.
There's a lot of toing and froing, which I haven't really gone into in this plot description.
Yeah, you'd literally lose about 20 minutes just from sort of modern editing, I would have thought.
Yeah. So, you can just whiz through it.
I think it's worse because
I think it's worse.
Common with Slade. Nothing against Tennant and Freema, but they're really firing on all cylinders in this one. The chemistry is fantastic between them.
It is.
They totally know. They're in their characters, know what they're doing. I think the 1911 setting suits being shot on 16mm film. And videotape. And fuck it, it's the first story I remember. I'm not messing with Pyramids of Mars.
Like I said, I mean, this isn't a favourite of mine, and I can't really put my finger on why exactly. But I'm gonna step out of line. I'm gonna edge towards it might be better because I think the effects would be bigger, would be more effective. And I think that would boost the end of the story. That would boost, particularly on Mars. I'd like to see more of Mars. I think that would give that a bit of boost. So yeah.
No, I think it'd be worse because I think it's kind of its era a bit. I think we've changed a few things, but I think if it was like RTD and whoever was doing the series at that time, they'd probably have changed a lot of things. It would be very different. It wouldn't just be slightly different. It would be very different.
I think there's a lot of grace notes and subtlety in performance that would be lost by the faster pace. I think that would be to its detriment. So, I mean, I'm with Paul on that. It kind of needs to be made in 1975, really, Pyramids of Mars. But it would be a great story, I think. It would be well regarded because it's a good story. You know, it rattles along well. It's Robert Holmes. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Did we cast Sutekh? Who we cast as Sutekh?
Gabriel Wolf.
Gabriel Wolf, fine. Nice.
Or Patrick Stewart.
Did
you say Bob Peck?
Bob Peck.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick
Bob Peck. Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart,
yeah.
Clever girl.
He wouldn't be as good as Gabriel Wolf.
We'll have to keep Bob Peck for something really good. Actually, Bob Peck might have been dead by then. Because
he might have been. Yeah.
We'll have Bob Peck as a Thal or something in the Daleks.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, shall I speak numbers?
Oh yes.
Right. 263.
263 is okay. The Return of Dr. Mysterio.
And it is number 1, so that's William Hartnell. Hurrah!
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We haven't had one for a while, Hartnell.
It's about time we did.
Was Attack of the Cybermen the last? No, I think we had another one.
So this is a superhero story.
A superhero story.
Between 1963 and 1966. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. But it's going to have to be Batman, isn't it, really? I think Batman did start while Hartnell was still in residence.
Yeah, well,
let's say it did, because it's such a beautiful concept.
Yeah.
Whether it was shown in the UK then, I don't know.
It's definitely
too early. The tail end of Hartnell, then, isn't it?
It's definitely too early for the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, so we can't spoof them the way Moffat does. So we'll have to think of something.
I suppose you could have George. Is it George Reeves?
George Reeves, yes. He was around this. Yeah, when did they make them? That must have been.
Yeah, I'm not sure
50s,
I like of William Hartnell in spandex and with his underpants on the outside, though. I'm not sure I am down with that.
You need a jolly good smacked bottom.
Oh, dear.
Join us next time for the return of Dr. Mysterio. I've been Paul Ferry, and my co-hosts have also been themselves. They've been Rupert Booth.
I still am me. What are you saying?
And Barry Williams.
I'm so confused in my mind.
So join us again next time for that. Well, listener, that was Time Ram. Thank you for listening. If you would like to get in touch with us, we can be found on Twitter. I'm at PaulFerry8. Baz is at BazTimeRam, and Rup is at Rupert Booth. We also have a Facebook page. Feel free to drop in. I need to thank Ben Jones for providing our music. If you would like to support the production of Time Ram, please consider setting up a subscription at Patreon, where you can get all kinds of goodies. Join us next time for, well, more of the same.
A Doctor Who Podcast Network.